Our second candidate today is Dr. Austin Floyd, and I will go ahead and spotlight him as I introduce him. Dr. Floyd brings significant experience in higher education as well as strategic planning. He holds multiple degrees in public administration slash political science, a master's in management, and received his doctorate in higher education leadership. Dr. Floyd's focus is on community development, and he is an advocate for access and equity. And so, with that, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Floyd to talk about his candidacy and what he sees for our future. Dr. Floyd.
Good morning, Democrats. Good morning, Northeast Richland. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Many of you don't know me because I'm running for an open seat that McElveen is no longer seeking. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time just letting you know who I am, and then also let you know what I'd like to do. So I am a proud Bulldog. I just want to get that out the way. I'm not wearing any Bulldog gear right now, but I did get my start at South Carolina State University, and that was very instrumental to the way that I view equity and education and such. I live here in Sumter, South Carolina, but I attend church in the Northeast, all right off of Two Notch. I go to Forward City Church with Pastor Travis Green. I am a father, a single father to Ethan Floyd, who is 12 years old, and I understand what it means to just be concerned and think about your children and their future, think about their mental health, think about the world that they're growing up in, but also who they're going to become and how you're going to help them get to where they're going just as a parent. I also am an educator, so I've been an educator my entire career. I started off with the technical college system and working at a local technical college, and then moved up to the system office working for the South Carolina Technical College System in the Division of Academic Student Affairs and Research. And there we focused on providing students with scholarships, providing them with trainings so that they can get jobs in their specific community. So we worked with the 16 technical colleges to provide those short-term trainings. Of course, we are the workforce arm of economic development and workforce development for the state. So we train, there's over 100,000 students that, were in our colleges, and we worked with industries to bring them in and train them to train new potential students, to work in their companies. I currently work at Sumter Adult Education, so I help adults who were left behind in the system, who did not get a high school credential. I help them to get their credential because I believe that education is such a mover, not of just social mobility. Studies show that when people and communities are more educated, communities are safer. There are less behavioral issues. They are able to take care of their families and contribute to society. They're able to make healthier choices for their bodies, right? So education is the choice of mine. It's a really important passion. And not only that, because I could have stayed at the technical college system and became a vice president, but I really wanted to get in the trenches in my own community. So I work at Sumter Adult Ed, helping students get their GEDs, but I also work at the detention center. I help those who made a mistake, who've committed a crime, and who are in jail to earn a credential. And then our program currently allows them to go to a technical college for free once they get out. So that is a really a rehabilitative a way to try to change the trajectory of people's lives. I come from parents who both have GEDs. I come from a place of poverty and crime, and also love and community, the same community that had dysfunction and was underfunded and looked at in a bad way, was the same community that loved me and that built me up. And education was a key factor in helping me to grow and to get out. So Education is one of my primary concerns. It's something that is under attack when we look at the curriculum bill that was passed last year and that's still in the committee. That stifles what teachers are even able to speak and to teach. Right? We look at education funding being under attack when we should be thinking about how can we offer more support to educators. We're taking funding away from educators, and that's not okay. I worked at Sumter High School, and while I was there, my smallest class had 33 students in it, which baffled me because I had to be so creative in trying to really allow learning to take place, right? And I honestly was burnt out because I had to stay after school, I had to tutor free, I had to do so many things and provide so many support services and resources. So as a potential senator for you, I want to ensure that our schools are adequately funded so that we have enough teachers, right? And that we retain those teachers, but also so that we have enough support services. I also in education want to expand pathways because if you leave a high school in South Carolina, or especially in our region, you should leave with a skill that increases your earning potential. Again, I believe that economic development is a key a pathway to so many other positive outcomes. And right now, the best way for economic development is through gaining a skill or trade that will allow citizens, adults in the communities to earn more money. I also believe in preparing for economic development. I believe that you have to do it responsibly. The Northeast region has boomed and grown. I promise when I drive to church or when I'm going to the state house or going to work, there's all these new houses everywhere, right? And you think about, okay, this is great, right? But we think about how do we do this responsibly? How do we ensure, like someone asked the question earlier, that this isn't just a big boom for 10 years and then the community is left behind, right? I am a candidate who listens to you, right? That's my first priority. I do not pretend to know every aspect of your experience. So in my run for Senate, that's one of my commitments to continue to listen, but to come to you and provide spaces for listening, monthly meetings. You shouldn't have to come to me to know what your senator is doing. You can call me on it if I'm elected. You said every month that you will tell us what's going on in your world, what bills are being passed, what we're working towards. And I commit to doing that because you have to bring what's happening to your constituents. Otherwise, bills like the open carry law that just kind of snuck up, I feel like, on us. There are a number of just bills that snuck up. Even the ban on DEI in higher education. There's a few bills that just kind of snuck up, and you're like, wow, where did this come from? And it didn't necessarily sneak up for me, but for the general population, many people are unaware of what's happening. So I am a staunch advocate for education, both at that K-12 level and expanding access to technical college education, as well as economic development, preparing for economic development, doing it responsibly, ensuring that we have the infrastructure, utilities, resources, and that we're prepared. And as a community, that county councils, city councils have already designated and decided, where growth may be taking place, which industries may be coming, how we can raise our per capita income, but also thinking about economic development from the standpoint of preserving history and preserving what the community wants to see as we continue to move forward. And then, I focus on building stronger communities, and that happens through communication, that happens through building safer communities, and also just being available, right? Being a person of the people. If elected, I work for you, and I've been a public servant my entire life. I served with the Sumter County. I live in Sumter, so that's where I serve. I'm third vice chair of the Sumter County Democratic Party. I've been, and every year as a young Democrat, we're getting 125, 150 people registered to vote. Actually, there's a parade here at 10 o'clock. So I'm down there at the parade getting people registered to vote with our QR codes and really trying to promote civic engagement. Um, I'm saying all this because I want you to know that I am a servant, right? I'm a public servant, and I have always thought of the people who are left out and left behind, which is why I work at adult ed. I'm thinking and bringing to the table those who don't always have a seat. District 35 needs someone who understands their values, their needs, who understands what it means to really just try to make it as a family, who really understands just working class people, but also understands the business sector and understands education, and not on a nuanced level. And you get gain that understanding by listening. So I was told I had 5 minutes. I don't want to go too deep, but if you are questioning whether or not you're even in the district, I do want to send this link real quick. So if you click on that link, you put your address in there, you will be able to see if you are in District 35, because not all of Northeast is in District 35, right? So they're, thinking about Pontiac and thinking about Bookman and the States and, Elgin area. And there's only Ward 26. There's only just a few in that Northeast district, but there are lots of families there.
Mhm.
You want someone who, as a father, as a person who just understands all communities, who will represent you well. So if you don't know if you're in District 35, check that out. I hope to represent you, and also I'll share some information also about my website, and I'll open for questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Austin. Excellent. I actually tried to go out last night and pull up the map, and this particular district is very interestingly drawn. And so I really encourage you to go to sevotes.org to take a look at that map, because it does kind of go up all the way to Sumter and comes all the way down into this area. It's definitely an
Wow.
example of a badly drawn map.